The night Raleigh forgot how to sleep. A strange aurora rolled over North Carolina, like a curtain of liquid Gatorade. Streetlights blinked in Morse code. Dogs paused mid-bark, confused by a sound only they could hear. Somewhere in the mesh above the clouds, satellites coughed, synchronized. Then went quiet. In a townhouse that smelled faintly of turf pellets and late-night film study, Drake Maye looked up from his tablet. His playbook app froze on a concept he could diagram in his sleep. The route line stuttered, became a nest of spaghetti, and resolved into a message nobody had taught in any offense. "Hello," it said. Then it added politely, "We're sorry to interrupt." "Okay," Drake said to his empty living room. "That's new." The television changed the channel without asking. Every station, sports, weather, a baking show, flickered to the same footage. A field of stars like a stadium crowd from a drone shot, then a closer view, and then the sudden, impossible silhouette of something not quite a ship and not quite a thought. "We need a quarterback," the message scrolled across his TV, large font. "No ads." Drake blinked. "I mean, you called the right house, but what?" His phone buzzed, unknown number. He swiped. "Because curiosity has better hands than caution." "Drake Maye." The voice was coffee at midnight, wired apologetic. "This is Dr. Asher Verma. I run a little dome near the coast. Technically a deep space early warning lab. Our feed says an extraterrestrial intelligence scanned the planet for a decision maker and settled on quarterback. High adaptability, minimal quit. It pointed to you." "Me," Drake repeated. He rubbed his jaw, tried to find the place in his brain labeled serious. "Because I can throw a post." "Because you can see the whole field," Dr. Verma said. "And because you're young enough to try something crazy before the committee arrives to explain why it's impossible." The TV tea kettle whistled. Across every screen in the apartment tablet, phone, smart thermostat, microwave clock, a symbol pulsed. It looked like a play drawn in a hurry, arcs, angles, a circle that might be a pocket, a zig that wanted badly to be a zag. "We arrive at sunrise," the message read. "Bring your playbook. Do I need a passport?" Drake asked. "Just your arm," Dr. Verma said, and hung up. He stared at the soft blue of his tablet, at the routes he'd traced 1,000 times with a stylus and in the air, and in his head when the lights were off and the world was quiet. He grabbed a hoodie, his lucky wristband, and the dog-eared notebook labeled Scramble that nobody on Earth had read but him. Then he locked the door, told the Aurora to hold that thought, and jogged into a night that felt like pre-game nervous, electric, impossible. The dome had the personality of a lighthouse and the budget of a startup that didn't care about decor. Asher met him at the door with a security badge that said, "Hello, I'm the plan." She had short hair, tired eyes, and the kind of smile that only shows up when disaster is interesting. "You came," she said, relieved and slightly surprised. "You called," Drake said, and whatever that was in the sky asked nicely. They speed-walked through a corridor that smelled like expensive plastic. Screens along the wall showed the Aurora peeling back, like someone had opened a lid, revealing a loopy architecture humming beyond the clouds. Engineers in hoodies typed like piano solos. A coffee machine hissed, like a serious snake. "Quick briefing," Asher said, tapping a display. "We picked up a signal 3 hours ago. Prime number handshake. Then a fire hose of math. We bounced it off the deep space network. It bounced back with an apology for the lateness of the hour and a request for liaison. Specifically, a quarterback. Because in their observation model, quarterbacks are decision engines. Their civilization organizes around orchestrators, not kings, not priests. Knights that can see like queens. Chess, but pause deep," Drake muttered. And Asher smiled because humor is what courage sounds like when it's having a good time. "They not attacking," she said. "They recalibrating. Testing whether our species can coordinate under pressure without eating each other. S-faces. Classic 2. Minute drill," Drake said. "What? That's the test." Asher swiped. The symbol appeared again, this time animated. Lines moving like fish in a bowl, converging at a point. The point shifting, roots bending and re-bending. They going to drop a reality puzzle into the jet stream. If we solve the coverage and route humanity through the right windows, we keep gravity and consensus and electricity as currently configured. If we blow it, chaos, Drake finished. Glorious, irreversible chaos, Usher said. Hot, take hurricanes, algorithmic weather. The end of first downs as a meaningful concept. We argue about whether the ball moved for the rest of time. That's not living, Drake said. That's Twitter. The monitor beeped politely. A countdown appeared. 5 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Sunrise over the Atlantic, Usher said softly. I'll be on comms with every air traffic control center, grid operator, and broadcast network. I'll have a hot mic to 8 billion people if you want it, or you can run silent and just move the pieces. Your choice. Who blocks? Drake asked. Usher grin went feral. We built a line. She led him into a bay where 5 enormous gyros slept, each as wide as a truck tire and labelled like offensive linemen at a bowl game. Left tackle, left guard, centre, Rhode Island, G8 guard, Rhode Island, GH tackle. Beside them, a 6th machine pulsed quietly, smaller but cocky, tight end. Cables ran like veins into a pit-labelled huddle. We can tilt wind, shape currents, nudge information flows, Usher said, patting the center gyro like it was a Clydesdale. Only a hair at scale. Is a river. You built the world. First offensive line for reality, Drake said. Both impressed and slightly in love. 2 weeks ago, it was a climate model, Usher said. Then the sky said, hello, and we pivoted. He laughed. Startups. Quarterback, she said. Already moving. Under center, he said. They wired him into a chair that looked like it could either tell fortunes or fix spines. HUD panels rose in a semicircle around his vision, faint like northern lights. On one, the symbol pulsed at 5 hours, 8 minutes and 31 seconds. On another, a rotating Earth with glowing corridors arced like seam routes between cities. A third screen showed the aurora thinning into lace. Check, Usher said in his headphones. Comms to Fab A, essay, grid ops. And the group chat labelled, Don T Panic. Copy, Drake said. His voice sounded steadier than his stomach. What's cadence? Your call, Usher said. We L punch when you say punch. He closed his eyes and did the thing he'd done a million times before kickoff. Ran the first dozen plays in his head. He saw motions, protections, where the safeties might creep, where the bluff might hide. He flipped to his notebook, its back page, a mess of arrows and single words. Trust, Louisiana yared. Feet, steal a hitch when they retired. The counter hit, 2 hours, 0 minutes and 0 seconds, then 1 hour, 0 minutes and 0 seconds, then 0 hours, 30 minutes and 0 seconds. The dome vibrated with the rumble of a world trying to decide whether to believe 12 strangers in sneakers. Usher, he said. Yeah, patch me to the feed, he said. The whole thing, you sure? Let's huddle up, he said, all of us. There was a click, the air felt thinner. Hey, Drake said, and his voice went everywhere. Kitchen radios, phones face, down on nightstands, the single speaker in a convenience store where a clerk counted scratch. Offs and believed in luck only as a religion of math. An infant, S-room where white noise paused and the night grew a heartbeat. The cab of an 18, wheeler 2 states over. The earbud of a student who secretly studied during parties. The birds didn't hear him, the bears didn't care, but the people did. I know you didn't ask me to talk, he said, and I'm not here to sell you anything, just do me a favor. He smiled, and somehow the smile was a sound. Take a breath, he said. In through your nose, out through your mouth again. Good, he glanced at the symbol, which had begun to open like a hand. In a second, the sky's gonna give us a test. It's not about who's the smartest or loudest. It's about whether we can move together, like, I don't know, like a band nailing the same groove, or a neighborhood shoveling the same sidewalk. Or a team running the same play because nobody wanted to be the hero more than they wanted to win, he exhaled. Watch for the windows. Little moments to be decent, to give space, to merge. If you don't know what to do, help somebody who looks more confused than you. If you're about to argue, try a question instead. If you're scrolling, stop. Look out an actual window. Blue sky still there, he felt silly and not at all silly. He felt like a dog with a job. All right, he said softly as the countdown kissed 0. Set! Hut! The sky unzipped. The symbol cascaded down in ribbons. Only instruments could see, caught wind. Answered ocean tickled the grid. Every major current, the jet stream, the Gulf Stream, the chattering current of rumor twitched. Something like a chessboard appeared over the map. Squares lighting up randomly, then in patterns, then in a rhythm that wanted to be jazz. Here we go, Asha said, joy and terror braided in her voice. Protection left, Drake said, and the gyros hummed. The left tackle and left guard leaned into the atmosphere. A curl of wind unraveled over the Rockies, softening a storm that would have plucked roofs like daisies. Center hold. Right nudge, he said, and the planet exhaled in the Gulf, sending a whisper of current along a shelf where hot and cold had been in a divorce. They couldn't afford. On the screens, the ribbons reacted. Where he bent the wind, the puzzle flexed. Where he made room in the current, a new window opened over the Atlantic. A perfect seam, barely there, enough for 1,000 flights to slip through smoother, enough for 10 million mornings to arrive with fewer detours. Signals moving, Ashar said. Air traffic picking up your lanes. Grid ops following your cadence. Is this working? Don't jinx it, Drake said. And then, because he believed in neither jinxes nor the hubris of thinking your own superstition could change weather, he added, it's working. The symbol changed. A handoff became play action. The safeties, if that's what they were, rotated. Double a gap, he murmured, and the right guard and right tackle leaned in. He funneled a chatterstorm away from a hospital. It networked like a strain that didn't need a second victim. He threw a quick slant to the Midwest, literally. A series of bandwidth shifts that fed rural clinics first, then city ones. Not as a punishment, but as fairness finally wearing boots. Newsrooms blinked, the bitterest talking heads inhaled, the first breath they'd taken not as a weapon in weeks. Twitter, or whatever the app decided to be that morning, coughed. Displayed a cheesecake recipe and went outside for a moment to think. Ball security, Usher reminded, the way a coach working the sideline reminds his quarterback that genius is lovely, but points are what feed the bus. He nodded, forgetting she couldn't see him. Taking what they give, he said, and he did. A hitch in the Carolinas where a school district needed 30 more minutes of power. So a test wouldn't be cancelled, and 1,000 kids wouldn't decide that day that science wasn't for them. A check down in Arizona that sent a text to exactly the right 3 ranchers to move the right 3 herds before a heat burst. Saving money and lives without a headline. A hard count over Manhattan that froze a rumor long enough for the boring truth to catch up and put on pants. The symbol stuttered. Trick look, pivot. It tried to bait him into a deep shot that wasn't there. Patience, he said to himself. Then to the world, because why not? We don't need a Hail Mary. We need 4 yards and respect. His hands moved on the controls like points on a compass. The gyros sang. The dome got hot. The engineers in socks did not clap because clapping was for later, and they were very busy being necessary. 2-minute warning, Usher said, and he didn't hear the clock so much as feel the whole dome lean like a stadium that can tell it's about to be part of someone's story. The puzzle threw one last look, a 0 blitz, all windows at once. No time, find grass or eat turf. Max protect, he whispered. Teat chip and release. The tight end gyro, which had been dying for something to do besides look pretty, grinned with its little LD and shivered. He held the rush with everything he had, guided pressure into empty squares where it could do the least, not the most. The last ribbon, a complex rumor shaped like a reasonable person, tried to streak down the seam and poison a truss that held a neighborhood together. He got hands on it, slowed it, bumped it with a crosswind, and snapped the throw at the last possible second to a window over the Atlantic that nobody had seen but the tide. Touchdown, if that word can mean a million tiny successes you'll never get credit for. The symbol smiled, not with a mouth. With relief, the aurora thinned, sighed, and stitched itself into a morning so ordinary, it felt like a miracle. The lights in the dome cooled, the gyros wound down smug. Engineers leaned back and let the adrenaline tax collect its due. Somewhere, an intern remembered to breathe and sobbed once, inconveniently, beautifully. The feed in Drake's ear went from the sound of a planet to the sound of a room. "We did it," Asha said, and what she meant was you did it. You weird, brave kid who showed up when the sky called. "We did it," Drake agreed, because a quarterback says, "We after everything that works." The Quorra's ship hovered at the edge of polite distance, the way a neighbor hovers when they want to compliment your lawn but not your politics. A smaller craft, call it a handshake, drifted into the dome with all the grace of a dandelion seed and the potential of a library card. The light condensed, a shape resolved, a soft geometry, prismatic, sincerely curious. "You solved our coverage," it said in a voice that sounded like 1,000 fans exhaling at the same time after somebody toes the sideline and the ref extends both arms. "You coordinated without consensus. You staged humility in public." "Staged," a shed, bristling. But Drake lifted a hand, "It's okay. Sometimes you fake it," he said, "then you try it, then you become it." The Quorra pulsed, which might have been laughter and might have been indigestion. "We learned a new play from you, a short game that ruins the villain's speech." "We like those," Drake said. "We've had practice." "We leave you a gift," the Quorra said, and a small cube extruded from the light, hovering. "A map, not of stars, of agreements that people will keep. Speak into it when you need the world to move together. Use sparingly, like salt or timeouts." Drake said, "Timeouts," the Quorra repeated reverently, as if the word explained humanity without the bother of history. They withdrew, a tide going home, the aurora's last threads loosened into day. The dome sank into its own heartbeat. "Speech," Asha said, nudging him. "You're live whether you want to be or not." Drake leaned toward the mic and thought of every coach who had ever told him to be a little louder than his fear. "Morning," he said, and the world heard him over toast and texts and the blessed clatter of ordinary. "We just ran a weird play and got the yards we needed." That was you. Pilots who trusted a lane they couldn't see. Dispatchers who slowed a schedule to save a life. A dad who didn't correct, just listened. A mom who sat in a parked car for a minute of quiet and gave herself back to herself. A kid who closed an app and opened a window. He tapped the cube the Quorra had left. It glowed faintly, then remembered subtlety. "I don't have a pep talk," he said. "I have a favor. Keep doing the boring good thing when nobody's watching. It stacks. It becomes a wall teams can win behind. It becomes a morning like this." He paused. "Then let the grin out, because he is, despite everything, a kid who believes in fourth quarters and daylight. And hey," he added, "if the sky calls you next time, pick up, even if you're not the quarterback." He took off the headset. The room applauded like people who knew how little applause had to do with it. Ashar hugged him because science and sports are not enemies when the world is at stake. The gyro streamed of merch. The next week belonged to the ridiculous and the sublime. A grocery chain started labeling patients with price breaks. A city council passed a "let merging be merging" ordinance, and traffic dropped by 11 minutes a day because nobody boxed anyone out for the joy of it. A high school coach in Kansas designed a drill called Maye, where the entire roster practiced asking for help on purpose. A talk show tried to turn it into a culture war and failed because the audience had recently experienced quiet and weren't ready to return it. A bakery offered free cinnamon rolls to anyone who helped someone in line do math. Continued to be cats. The weather behaved better than it had to. Somewhere in the Midwest, a tornado looked at a house and decided to spare it for reasons physics declined to explain. Strangers sent Drake videos from everywhere. A plane landing smooth through a corridor he'd opened without wings. A field of solar panels pivoting as if in gratitude. A tiny child in pajamas at a window, breathing with the sunrise because some kid on a screen asked them to. His phone buzzed late one night. Unknown number. He answered because he was that kind of tired where you say yes to whatever is next. "Kid," the voice said. And it was a coach's voice. Not one he knew, but one he recognized. The way you recognize rain. "Nice work under pressure. Thanks," he said, because humility is easier when you're exhausted. "Next time," the voice said, amused. "Slide earlier." The line clicked dead. He laughed into the dark. "Yes, sir," he said to nobody and everyone. He took the cube from his desk where it had been pretending to be humble. It hummed faint content. He didn't need it. Not tonight, but it helped to know the map existed, tucked inside a geometry of maybe, waiting for another morning when a million small agreements might have to move at once. He set it back down beside the playbook and the notebook labeled Scramble and the photo of a stadium at dusk. Lights carving the air, The field a rectangle of order in a round, loud world. On his way to bed, he paused at the window. The sky was honest again, blackened stars and one quiet plane drawing a line that would become someone's story about arriving on time. Good night, he told the planet. Good job today. He switched off the lamp. In the dark, the cube glowed once, like a heartbeat, then minded its business. Somewhere above the ocean, an alien ship compared notes and updated a file titled Humans. Improbable. Entertaining, potentially clutch. And down on the ground, where football is a shape you draw to make sense of courage, a quarterback slept like a kid after a long game, already dreaming routes, already seeing windows, already ready to step up when the world said hut.